Hello, welcome to the program. I'm Lana Kay. We have an author with us today, and she is from a little bitty but very popular town located right here in Boone County. And she decided to write a book about her hometown, and she named it Potions and Notions, The Legacy of Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. Please welcome our guest, Callie Clare, to the program. Welcome, Callie.
Hi, thank you.
So good to have you with us today.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, great. First of all, Callie, the first question is, why did you decide to write the book?
Well, I wrote this book because I was actually getting my master's degree in popular culture and at Bowling Green State University. And around that time, when I was up there in 2005, the movie was coming out.
That would be Rabbit Hash, the center
Rabbit
of the...
Hash, the center of the universe,
Yes.
was coming out and being made. And there was another election for another mayor that, of course, went to the dogs. And because my town was getting so much attention, I wanted to tell my story of it before, you know,
They told it for you, before they told it for you, okay. Now, Callie, you have another, you're now, are you going for your PhD?
Yes,
You're a
I am.
candidate. Oh, that is really impressive,
Yeah,
and I'm not
fun.
surprised.
Well, thanks.
Because I know it's in your blood, and we'll talk about that
Okay.
later. History's in your blood. Okay, now you decided to break the book down into three categories, or three parts, let's say 3 chapters. So the first, we touched on the heritage.
Yeah, a little bit of the history, how the town got its name, some of the buildings, some of the people that were there when it was founded. There's a lot more to the history of the town that I couldn't encompass in this project, but
It's
it
great.
will be told.
Second, community.
Yeah. When you talk to anybody that lives down there and ask them what they love most about the town, they always say that they love the community. So there's something special about the people that live there and the people that go there often. And so I just wanted to get into what was so special about that.
Third, how about media?
Oh, yeah.
The media.
Yeah. Rabbit Hash, you know, there's a movie about it. It's been on CNN. It's been on ESPN. It's been on all the local news channels. It's been in France on the news. It's been everywhere.
Yes,
So,
yes, it came a long way, didn't it, from the little country town located in Boone County. Let's take a look at the book now, at the picture she showed, or she chose for the cover, because it's a great shot, of course, of the general store, which is the main focus of the town. Okay, now, Callie, you have dedicated the book to Louis Scott.
Yes.
And you feel like if not for his tireless dedication, tell us a little bit about Louis as I go and find the picture of Louis.
Okay. Louis is from Rabbit Hash. He was born and raised, and in the late 70s, he bought the first building in Rabbit Hash that he purchased, which is the Ironworks. And after that, the people running the general store at the time asked him if he would be interested in buying the general store, and he did. And slowly he bought all of the other buildings, and because of that, that 3.5 acres that is now known as Rabbit Hash was preserved. No one came in and made it a parking lot for a ferry boat or
Isn't
anything.
that the truth? It was because of him. So
Yeah.
she dedicated it to him. Here's a picture of him. It's the top picture. He's sitting next to Callie's mother, Sue, and then also in the picture is George and Carlene Stevens, and they're a big part of Rabbit Hash also.
Yeah, both from Rabbit Hash.
Now let's talk about your dad, Don,
Okay.
who I enjoy his articles so much because he writes for the Recorder, you know, pretty often.
Well, he'd be honored to hear that.
And I do. I enjoy those articles. And he was also a great source. He's the historian.
Yeah.
And he's the is he the president of the Historical
Yes.
Society?
He's president of the Rabbit Hash Historical Society, and I actually had to do a bit of research for him today.
Oh.
Today, December 13th, is the 9th anniversary of when the Historical Society bought the town.
Bought the town.
So I think the next picture you showed.
Well,
was
it is,
kind of
and it
more
is, and isn't that strange? Because I just wanted to find the most recent picture of him, and that is him signing. It's signing, and
Yeah.
that's funny that happened today of our show, and that you did the research. And so Don is in and the white hair signing. So he's been and also at the bottom of that picture is the Clare two-story log cabin, beautiful log cabin in Rabbit Hash, and that's your home.
Yes, that's where I grew up.
And your dad also had that dismantled, and piece by piece brought it in and resurrected it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in Rabbit Hash that have done that same thing. They found an old log cabin, taken it apart piece by piece, removed it piece by piece, and now they live there.
That is so great. There's only one town like Rabbit Hash. We all know that. I just want a fun picture. This is these two guys that are really so very important to Rabbit Hash when they were young. Here's Louie and Don Clare. I think Don's smoking. I don't know if he still is, but
no, he's not.
he's not, but he was in the picture. And so there they are. And they're really the heroes of Rabbit Hash, these two guys. So I wanted to show a picture of them, especially when they were young. Below is the ironworks that Callie just talked about, and that was the first building. So we also get a shot of that. So what a town, Callie. Now, your hope in writing Potions and Notions is that your research and analysis will answer the most frequently asked questions. And so we're going to touch on them now. We'll never cover this book, so we're just trying to do the best we can in our time slot. But where did Rabbit Hash get its name? Because that is what really, when they say what, Rabbit Hash.
Well, it's a very contested story. Many people have recorded different versions of the story, and I go through many of them, as many as I could in the book, you know, giving credit to Laura Ingalls as she was captured by the Indians in the Follow the River type story. The one that's most accepted is the only story that gives credit to the actual members of the Rabbit Hash community for the naming. Everyone else says, oh, it was a visitor or a traveler. But these people said no,
we named it.
It was us.
We named it.
Yeah.
Right.
So the story goes, during one of the floods, you know, 120 some years ago, it was right around this time, right at Christmas, and so everyone was talking about what they were going to have for Christmas dinner, and the town drunk, because there's always at least one, Frank said that he was going to have Rabbit Hash because the flood had pushed all of these rabbits up.
And they were plentiful.
And so they just got a kick out of that, and then it eventually stuck to the town and was sort of nicknamed for the town. So when the post office approached Rabbit Hash, which was then called Carlton,
yes,
they needed a name change because the mail from Carlton and Carrollton was getting mixed up. And so they said, well, we're Rabbit
Hash now. They're Carrollton. Okay, that is so interesting, Callie. And so that's probably that's what we're going with. That's what we're going with. Okay, now the town. Who could have ever dreamed that the town mayor, you know, became a dog, and that this was so brilliant? I mean, did they? You know, it really was, because this is what piqued all that interest in what town is named Rabbit Hash with a dog for the mayor.
It's strange, that's for
how
sure.
that really worked out. So let's take a look at some of these heroes, and we've had 3. Am I right, Callie? 3 mayors.
Oh, yeah.
Three dog mayors.
This is our third mayor right now.
We're on the 3rd. First was
Goofy.
Here's Goofy.
I believe.
Lower picture.
I'm not good with my dates. I wrote them all in the book so I wouldn't have to remember them. But I think it was in 1998.
I think so.
That Goofy became mayor. And what happened, it was the Boone County bicentennial. And so everyone was having some little celebration to celebrate that. And in Rabbit Hash, they decided they'd have an election for mayor because up until that point, Louie had been referred to as the mayor.
Right.
And so they did, and then one woman suggested to another woman, well, maybe you should put your dog up for mayor. And she goes, well, I will. And she did, and then another dog joined, and another dog joined, and pretty much after that, there was no chance of a person winning. The first election is documented in the Rabbit Hash Center of the Universe movie. So you get to meet all of the candidates.
All of them.
Then,
We have some pictures. And then after Goofy came Junior.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at him.
Okay.
Because this to me, I mean, I think maybe that you explained it this way. At first it wasn't, I thought maybe it was just a brilliant idea, but then it just caught on,
Oh,
huh?
yeah,
It was sort of a mistake that caught on.
Well, and it did a lot of good for the community.
Oh,
It was,
tremendous.
it was $1 a vote, and then all the proceeds went to the Rabbit Hash Historical Society. So the first election helped preserve East Bend Methodist Church, which the Historical Society owns. And then other money has gone to flood insurance and fire insurance.
And just
getting rid of termites.
helping this society. So this is Junior.
Yes.
And above, let's see, and there's also on this same page is this Bob and his dog Rembrandt also? And I think he was a contestant.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now this says here $1. Okay, $1 one vote.
Yes.
Vote for whoever you choose. No, there's a sign on this page. I'm sorry,
okay.
Callie. This is $1 for one vote. Vote for whoever you choose and as many times as you want. This is an equal opportunity election race open to, well, it means two-legged or four-legged animals, and bribery is a traditionally accepted campaign tactic. So this is the rules for the election, and it is absolutely so hysterical. And it was also sort of a tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, yeah,
People were very
definitely.
tired of the way elections had been run, and they said, well, heck, a dog could do just as well.
Right.
And so, and that's only in Rabbit Hash, though, could they really make it happen.
Yeah, well, Junior won in 2004, and we all remember that election, I hope.
Yes, yes.
There was just, you know,
He
it
was a
so
darling dog.
close, and people were just sort of sick of hearing about, you know, the real politics, and so the sort of mockery of
the
it
whole
was really fun.
How fun it was. And there was also pigs and
Oh, yeah.
Potbelly Pig was in a donkey. It wasn't always a dog, but this is Lucy Liu, reigning mayor
Oh, yeah.
of Rabbit Hash. And now beneath, above is Bob and his dog Rembrandt. Sorry, I had the wrong page the last time, but these dogs have just created such a stir.
Oh, yeah, they have.
And it's been, now the town really turned out for the candidates in the election speeches. Now, so then their masters, their owners then take over and give the speeches?
Yeah, there's people speaking on behalf of each of the candidates at that last political rally in 2008. I'm not sure.
And they really come up with what this dog is going to do for the community?
Yeah, and Lucy's been a great mayor. She's, you know,
friendly.
She's very friendly. She's made a lot of public appearances and worked for certain charities and openings, and she's been on more TV shows than any of them.
Than anybody has made. Here's Callie's father, Don, and the candidates, and they're dedicating the new state-of-the-art outhouse.
Oh, yeah.
So there's Don and all the candidates for mayor. And the lower picture is of Pike, and he's in his bed, and he may be the tiniest candidate of all, but Pike didn't quite make it.
No, he didn't win the election. He was, I believe, given the title of sheriff, maybe.
He was sheriff. Oh,
but
good.
But he since passed away.
Well,
so we're very sad to
sadly.
have lost Pike,
but there'll be
a dog's life.
That's right. Now let's talk about the general store.
Okay,
because the general store is
it's the heart of the town.
The heart of the town. Okay, so let's take a look at it, at another picture of it. Of course, it's on the front. I found another good shot of it in here, Callie. So tell us about the general store. And
well, the general store was built in 1831, and it was originally used for storage for the local grange of farmers, because of the way that the river sort of bends right there in Rabbit Hash. The river boats would always dock across the river in rising sun. So in order to get their goods over there and to buy new goods, they'd have to ferry it across, and they needed a place to store it. And then after that, it became James A. Wilson, one of the early founders of the town, made it into the general store, and it's been in continuous operation since.
That is
So,
amazing.
Still
Now,
no running water. But
and still no running water. They're antique items, and you personally worked there, and
I
this is
did,
what
yeah.
really, until then, you said, I will always be known as the girl from Rabbit Hash in sort of a negative way. But after you worked at the store,
Oh, yeah.
it really piqued your interest in the town and caused you to appreciate your town.
Yes,
And
it
tell
did.
us about your days at the store.
Oh,
Did you
man.
just come to realize what you'd maybe taken for granted?
I did. That's exactly what happened. It was, you know, being a high school student and all your friends live in the subdivisions and, you know, they all hang out with one another every
Exactly.
day. I couldn't get there. I didn't have a car. I couldn't, and they weren't going to drive out to the
To Rabbit
middle of
Hash.
nowhere. And so I sort of resented living that far away, but when I started working in the general store is when I met more and more of the people that were there. I'd known a lot of the people my whole life, but I'd never known them as an adult. So I developed different types of relationships with a lot of people, and people that were my parents' friends were now my friends. And I'd see how many people would just come visit the town and how much they loved it and would try so hard to connect themselves to the place. And I realized that, you know, it wasn't just special to the people that lived there, but to everybody. And the fact that, you know, on any given weekend you can't park your car because it's so crowded, it says something about how special it is.
That's right. Why are they all here? So the current proprietor is Terry Marksberry, and I have a good picture of her standing at the front entrance. And now I know that different proprietors have different rules. Is Terry one that does let them run a tab, or are tabs a thing of the past? Because we talked about you talked about
They're
tabs.
not technically a thing of the past, but you've got to be known and vouched for by several people
before that
one's
can
over.
happen. And sure, because we have to know who we're dealing with here. And then Dwayne is on the porch above Terry.
Yeah, and Dwayne's a very important person in Rabbit Hash. He takes care of, cuts the grass. He's often seen there just doing any and everything. He's a real helpful fellow to have around and a great friend to everybody in the town.
So there's Dwayne. I have to tell you a little story about Terry Marksberry. My mother and I went to Rabbit Hash about, I'm going to say 8 years ago. It was a very hot day, and my mother fainted.
Oh, no.
Yes, we were in the antique part right across from the store where we're looking through there, and she fainted. She'd never done anything like that. I was frantic, and I don't have a cell phone. I know it's one of those things I should have, but I don't. And so I raced over to the store, and I said, my mom fainted or something, and she said, I'll call 9. She just took over. She called 911. She grabbed water on her way out to race back to my mother. We, put that on her face and gave her a drink, and she helped me take her over to a tree. I will never forget her kindness that day. And that endeared, that one act of kindness, I'll never forget how nice she was to us and helpful, and waited there until the ambulance came, and then everything was okay. It was just a fact that she had fainted. But it's funny how much a nice act will live on with you. I'll never forget her. I'll never forget you, Terry. Okay, now Louie at one time decided to sell Rabbit Hash, or if that failed, turn it over to the Historical Society of Rabbit Hash.
He didn't want necessarily the burden of it. I mean, it takes a lot of time to keep up all of those old buildings. But he also didn't want it to,
fall into hands that would not, that would not preserve.
And so it was sort of a joke that the town was for sale, and so he put Don, my dad, in charge of selling the town. But they didn't really get any serious consideration for, people actually wanting to buy it, but they were on the news and funny little articles written about it.
Again, great PR. Those guys created PR even if they weren't trying to. They sure did. But then came a lady named
Edna Flower.
Edna Flower. What a hero.
I know. She is a hero. No one really knew her because she didn't live in Rabbit Hash all of the time. She had a house there, and she passed away. And when she passed away, my dad got a phone call from her lawyer and said, my client has passed away and she left something for the Historical Society. And my dad was was pretty excited, but he didn't expect $250,000 is what she left.
50.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that is wonderful.
And because of her, they bought the town from Louis, and that was 9 years ago today. And now the town can stay the way that it was, and it helped make it a National Register historic district, and so now it can't be changed. So.
It meant everything to get that money. It was such a great gift. And I wondered, you know, she didn't live there that much. She just loved it, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, she loved it a lot. So you had no idea, just to come in out of the blue, I can't imagine. This is Edna in her younger years, and the bottom plaque is, they memorialized her. The plaque is on the Historical Society building, the museum, and thanking her. You know, it's a plaque in her honor. What a great lady. Now, we want to touch on another great day down there on Labor Day weekend.
Oh, yeah.
There is a very big celebration. It's gotten to be big.
Oh, yeah.
And that is?
It's called Old Timers Day, often called Old Fashioned Days. It's got a lot of names, but the official name is Old Timers Day. And that started in 1980, right after Louis had taken over the town. And he and some of the other people, Patty, who ran the store, and they wanted to get to know the old timers of the town and collect the stories. So they invited them all up to Louie's house, and a lot of them brought old pictures, and they would sit down and talk with Louie and Don and, you know, Patty and my mom and everybody that was there, and tell them stories of the old days. And then the next year they brought their families or friends from out of town, and the next year more and more people, and then a band played, and
then it got,
and then
now
the people who started it are the old timers.
That's right,
so
right.
They just sort of sit in the back,
and they've been overtaken, haven't they?
But Old Timers Day is really the day that Rabbit Hash shows itself off. There's music basically from noon until midnight. There's food carts. There's beverage booths, we'll say. There's crafters. It's when all the major announcements are made. It's when the past two elections began. It's when this book was released. Excuse me.
Did you release
Yeah.
Is it
At
really?
Alzheimer's Day.
Sure.
Just any little thing that's special about the town. We always have an art show in the art gallery that goes along with it, because there is an art gallery in the barn, and it's just our day.
It's Rabbit Hash Day. Now this is a picture of the Scalded Hog, and then the Downtown County Band is playing in that lower picture, and that's just a little part of Old Timers Day.
Yeah.
It started just locals with covered dishes talking up at Louie's, and it grew into a great big celebration.
It was a potluck at first, but when so many people get there, a potluck's really ridiculous.
Okay, Callie. Now, what makes Rabbit Hash so popular?
Well, this is what I really have to think
about. You wrote though in the back. It's a great description of it in the back of your book. So tell us.
Rabbit Hash, I feel, is special because right now, in this world that we live, it's sort of hard to connect to, I don't know, that special America, that sense of America and the good old days in the past. And when you go into Rabbit Hash or into the general store even, and the door creaks and the floor squeaks and everything's wood, and you can see all the feet and hands that have been in there and worn down the wood, it just makes you feel like you're part of America and part of something much older and much bigger than yourself, and you can really connect to the town. And people like to connect to that golden age in America where life was simple and we didn't have all the problems that we have today.
Isn't that the truth, Callie?
And I think that's what a lot of it is.
Well, Callie, so at one time, we talked about this earlier, that one time you felt, I'm always the girl from Rabbit Hash, and now you're so proud of that town, and you should be. And you should be. Well, what an entertaining guest you've been, Callie. We've just had a good time. I know you've enjoyed her as much as I have. And there's more information and pictures in this book. There's no way we could get to it all. I hope that, though, that we did touch on some of the highlights of her book. Don't miss it. It's truly an interesting read. Even if you don't like history that much, if you like it, you'll love it. If you don't, it's still very, very interesting. And Callie, where can they purchase it?
Well, of course, the Rabbit Hash General Store
Of
has
course.
some, and also the Rabbit Hash Historical Society website. They're the ones who published it, and it's rabbithashusa.com. And I believe right on the homepage there's a link to order the book. Free shipping for the holidays.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
And we'll have that information up at the end of the show. Well, Callie, Clare, thank you again.
Thank you.
And as always, you all be happy and keep smiling, and I'll see you soon.